Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. In this episode I'm going to be talking about fighting in prison. In prison there are no rules, and what I mean by that is when two lads or even three or four lads are fighting in prison, there are no rules. In prison, when you're fighting, people are headbutting, biting, they're using everything possible because they just don't care. And these type of people that are in prison, they're in prison for violence. And if you're getting into altercations, they're going to use any means necessary to win. If you go and have a look on the video that I'm going to be uploading after this, you'll see two prisoners fighting in a prison cell. And you'll hear by the lads that are standing watching, shouting that there are no rules in prison. But these type of videos that I'm making about prison, the majority of people that are watching my channel are people that haven't been to prison, or they've maybe got kids that are going down the wrong path, or they know people that have been to prison, or you might have someone, a family relative, or somebody that is going down the wrong path. And these videos are for educational purposes, because the videos that I'm showing, I'm talking about my time in prison, I'm talking about other people in prison, I'm showing videos of getting off TikTok and off Instagram of what's happening inside of prison, and it's purely for educational purposes to hopefully deter people from going in there and letting them know what it's really like. So in prison, if you've got a couple of lads that are having a bit of beef and they're going apart to settle the score, it's not just like what you see in the videos on YouTube of people going down a field or going into a barn or whatever, when you see the gypsy lads going to have a fight or whatever. It's nothing like that in prison. If two lads are in a pad going at it and they start biting, like, this is the sort of things that's happened. You're biting, the headbutting, the pulling out tools, and there is no rules. How are you to say, like, if a couple of lads are fighting in the pad, like, don't do that or don't do it that way? It's like it's a free-for-all. Anyone is they're going to use any means necessary to win. I've actually witnessed it myself whilst in prison. So that's what happens if people or lads are fighting in prison. There are no rules. Obviously, you do get some lads that say, right, get out on the yard. They'll go outside on the yard and they'll have a scrap, and the best man wins. But 9 times out of 10, these two lads that's going at it, maybe he's in the gym, on the yard, wherever, it doesn't matter where it's at, it's still in prison. If they're going at it and the other one's getting the better of them and they're rolling around on the floor and one's next to the other one's ear, they just latch on. That's what generally happens in prison. That's the majority of people that have been in there. The majority of lads are they'll just start biting chunks out of each other, headbutting each other. But like on that video that I've uploaded, I'm uploading after this one. Sorry, go and check it out. It is viewer discretion advised, because, like I say, there's two lads going at it, and they're actually, one of them's biting the other one, and his hand's bust up, so he can't use his right hand. So the lads are shouting, "Use your left hand, use your head." And this is people from the outside in watching this supposedly fair fight. They're shouting, "Head him, headbutt him, use your head, bite him," and this is what's happening. So as I mentioned, for educational purposes, for the people that haven't been to prison, or the youngsters that are going down that wrong path and they're looking at they could be going to prison, think about this before you get there. You get into prison, you think you're big, you're hard and you're tough, but you come up against someone else who's a bit bigger than you have a scrap with him, he might start biting chunks out of you. You could come out with a nose missing. I've seen lads inside disfigured. There was a one lad I come across in Durham. He had half of his nose bitten off there, and it didn't look very nice. It wasn't a pleasant look. You see lads walking around with big scars down the faces. Everyone will have seen them. The nickname for a scar on your face in prison is a Mars bar. Rhyming slang, Mars bar scar. And a lot of the time, if someone has either seriously pissed someone off, or they debted up, or they owe somebody money, or they've been found out to be either a rapist, a nonce, or a grass, they sometimes get a double blade, and the double blade is two blades put together in the end of a toothbrush or whatever object you can get, and this put two slices down the face. And what happens there is if you've got two big slices down your face, they can't stitch it up, because when they try to stitch one, it opens the other, and they've just got to sort of glue it. And I've seen one lad in there with the biggest scar going down his face. It was that big, it looked the size of a finger just being stuck on your face like that. That's how naughty the scar was. And these are the type of incidents that you're going to come across whilst in prison. Because in prison, it's jail rules, and jail rules are, there are no rules. If you're going to get into an altercation, you're going to get into a fight, you've got to be prepared for the consequences coming back at you. Because when you're in prison, if there's a couple of lads that's had a bit of a disagreement with each other, and one of them's maybe already been battered off the other one, and the other one's going to go back for revenge, he's not just going to go back and punch him. They're going back with anything they can get a hold of. I've seen lads being done in with table legs, because in prison, they had, in your pad, you've got like a little wooden table. They were trying to do away with them and get the all-in-one table, so there's like no table legs on them, because the lads used to smash the table legs off and come running out. Big bit of wood like that, thick bit of wood, and smash the other lad's head in with the table leg. But sometimes, obviously, when they've ripped them off, they've got big spikes sticking out the end of them, so it can cause some serious damage. But like I say, when you're in there, people are just going to use whatever they can, especially if someone has been bullying them or intimidating them or trying to victimize them, and they've had enough and they snap. But at the end of the day, when something like that happens, who are the other lads to come in and say, well, that wasn't necessary, because then they could end up getting into an argument with the other lads. I've seen it before when someone's saying, we shouldn't have done that. Then they've started fighting afterwards because he says, well, he should have done it, he deserved it, he was bullying him. And then they've started going at it, fighting over the fight. And these are the things that happens in prison. This fighting happens all the time, every day. Load of men full of testosterone, different personalities, a volatile place. And these incidents are happening daily, especially in, more so I'd say like in the cat seas, because there's a lot more drugs and lads wanting to get drugs and all that. So the alarm bells are going off all the time when people are fighting, and that screws running all over, breaking them up. But again, it's a volatile environment, and there's a lot of violence in the prisons again, and there is no rules. I'll leave that one there for now, people. Hopefully enjoying the content. Remember to go and like and subscribe. Take care, everyone.